There's a dialogue right in the beginning of the movie where one of the characters says, "We don't work under the Indian Penal Code, but we work under the Indian Political Code." Now, I think that one very strong dialogue sums up the essence of the movie that I'm going to talk about today. And the movie I'm going to talk about is Kathal, a Jackfruit Mystery. Kathal, a Jackfruit Mystery is written by Ashok Mishra, co-written by Yashovardhan Mishra, who is also the director of the movie. And it stars Sania Malhotra, Anand Joshi, Neha Saraf, Raghuveer Yadav, Rajpal Yadav, Vijay Raz, and quite a few others. The basic story is quite simple and absurd at one level. It's a story of this MLA from whose house, from whose tree, 2 15-kilo jackfruits get stolen. And he is really, really angry about this because the jackfruits are, as he calls them, Uncle Hong, a variant of Malaysia, and extremely rare and tasty. And he wants to know who has the audacity to steal from his property. So, wielding the kind of power that politicians in our country have, he sets about the entire police force, the entire local police force, to drop everything else and hunt for the culprit who has stolen the 2 jackfruits. That's what the story is about. And we have Sania Malhotra playing the lead role of Mahima Basod, an inspector who is in charge of the case. And right from the beginning, we see the kind of casteism, the kind of sexism, the kind of corruption that plagues our society, especially in the smaller towns and villages. There's a scene where Mahima, she wants to show an evidence to the MLA, and she comes close to him, and he reprimands her, saying that how dare she be wearing shoes and stepping on his carpet, and she has no choice but to step back. So these kind of things, these kind of issues that plague our society, where the fact that she's a woman and the fact that she's from a lower caste is she's constantly reminded of that. And also the fact that she's so used to it, she takes it in her stride. She doesn't feel as insulted or as outraged as some of us would feel watching those scenes. But the character that Sania Malhotra portrays so brilliantly doesn't seem to feel the pinch so much. Sania's character is in love with a Havaldar, a constable who is junior to her, and to top it all, he's also from a high caste. So he constantly has his father berating him for falling in love with a low caste woman, and that too a woman who holds a higher post than him professionally. So he says that, all your life you're going to be under her thumb and she's going to dominate you. Please find someone else. Don't marry someone like her. Not just that, not just his father, but you even have sort of colleagues say the same thing. That, why are you planning a future with a woman who's your superior professionally and also from a lower caste? So these things are, they are a reflection of what our society still is today. But the good thing about the movie, the good thing about Kathal is the writing of Ashok Mishra and Yashovardhan Mishra is extremely pacey. There's not a moment of slackness. The plot keeps on moving at a very brisk pace, and there is no moral preaching, or there is no, bhashanbazi, as we say. There is no political or social or moral high ground being taken, and hence the kind of preaching that we are used to is not there at all. The entire film is a light-hearted film. It makes you think, it makes you ponder, it makes you question yourself at times that is this really how we are? But everything is done with dollops of humor, and there's a certain lightheartedness in the movie which prevents it from being a grim social saga. It's a comedy, it's a satire, and that's exactly how the writer and director have kept it. The other thing is, what I liked about the movie is that the movie could have very well become a political statement, but there is none of that at all. It's a simple comedy, it's a simple social satire without any political undertones to it, which is rare for a subject like this. It's not present at all, thankfully. There are some really touching moments in the movie. There, as I said, a lot of the movie will make you think and ponder. There's this wonderful scene in the movie where the police officer, Sania Malhotra's character, calls a Mali, a gardener, for questioning in her room, and she asks him to sit down, and he sits on the floor. Because that's the kind of treatment they're used to, because he is lower caste and because he is from a lower rung of society. He knows that that's his place. He sits on the floor, and then she tells him that no, you're not supposed to sit there, you're supposed to sit on the chair. So there are these wonderful moments. There are quite a few small moments like that which tug at your heart. But the great thing about Kathal is it never loses its humor, its sense of humor, its lightheartedness, and that's how the film progresses. There is quite an audacious pre-climax sequence, and a pre-climax action sequence, if I might call it. And Raghuveer Yadav comes in just for the last 5 or 7 minutes of the movie, and just reminds you of how great an actor he is, that he comes in just for those 5 minutes and yet leaves a mark. Kathal is worth a watch, according to me. It's a wonderfully feel-good, light-hearted movie with a strong and important message, but without the preaching and without the moral high grounds that we usually associate with such movies, with such themes. Performance-wise, I think Sania Malhotra proves yet again that she is such an underrated artist. I'd loved her in Paglet, and I think Kathal is another wonderful movie of hers which showcases her brilliance. Anand Joshi, Neha Saraf, Vijay Raz, and of course Rajpal Yadav, they're all brilliant in their roles supporting Sania Malhotra. And overall, it's a wonderful watch. In the midst of dark and edgy and a lot of psychological thrillers that have been coming off late, Kathal is also a mystery. It also, has the essence of a whodunit, but the treatment is so wonderfully different and unusual. Kathal is streaming on Netflix from today. Do watch it, and let me know in the comment section what you thought of the movie. That's it for this episode, and until the next time, bye-bye.